Swami Sharma. What to explain of the sordid state of affairs of the private equity, the venture capitalists, and the angel funds, which are hitting the Indian markets, are getting risk averse. They do not want much of the risk. In the COVID times, much focus was on the e-commerce and the education on the online platform. The investment of private equity was focused on this online platforms. Now they are shifting their focus to the healthcare and many newer areas, so that the venture capitalists are not wanting to step into any kind of risk. They are aversing the risk. And checking the numbers, it has come down to around 30 deals per 70 deals per month from the earlier 100 deals per month in October season. If you look October 2022 season, this is the situation, that is, it has come down by 30. Earlier the private equities hitting the market was, for 6 months it was around $50 billion hitting the Indian markets. Now it has come down to around $35 billion, which is a very staggering figure and a shocking one. And this is a very sad news, because the equity, private equity, that is the venture capitalists, are the only ones which promote new investments, new ventures, and therefore are the cynosure of all eyes of new ventures. Therefore, they are exiting the market, and reducing their portfolio of investments is not a good news for all. Then, getting on to the discussion of the data protection bill, 2019 bill has been withdrawn and made more user focused and more executive focused. This is being discussed in length and in detail in the next article in the Businessline. The new data protection bill has enough safeguards for children on the online use of data, and most of the privacy and protection, data protection, is being the onus being shifted to the users, and therefore this is user oriented. And most of the rule making powers and many places we can see that it has been delegated to the executive rather than parliament infringing upon the powers, absolute powers. It has been delegated to the executive. These are the new changes which has been discussed in this data protection bill article. And then there is the payment settlement system, which is bill payment settlement system, which has been discussed. There are two arms of the bill payment settlement system which has been issued. That is, one is the operational segment and the central segment. That is, central segment is discussing with the rules for bill payment system, and the operationalized system will be, new bill payment system will be focusing on implementing the rules of the central bill payment system. What happens is that you can make any of your utility bills like electricity, power, then water, then telephone, all this through this new bill payment settlement system. Moving on to the Hindu, the first article, that is the editorial article, is focusing on the Himachal Pradesh government's bringing back the old pension scheme. The old pension scheme was a very comfortable scheme for the government employees, that is committing 50% of the last drawn salary towards the pension, and the matching contribution of the state government, that is 10% of the basic pay and dearness pay, would not be now necessary, but it throws much burden on the exchequer. It comes to around 20 to 30% of the total state revenues. Therefore, whatever we are collecting by way of revenues from the public are going for this old pension scheme. There are 4 states which has implemented this old pension scheme. Now Himachal joins this front. And what happens is that most of the public revenues which is being collected by the state, around 30% would be devolved on this old pension scheme. And collectively, if you look, both the union and the state government's revenue collections 12% of which will be devolved on this old pension scheme. Then another article is discussing on Morocco's and Croatia's coming to the front of the FIFA World Cup football. Morocco has proved that it is the Afro-Asian nation, that is the march of the Afro-Asian ethnicity nation to the forefront. Morocco has, although it has been knocked out in the semi-finals by France, however, the Morocco's progress into the World Cup is a stupendous achievement. Similarly, Croatia's defeating Brazil in the quarter-finals is much to be celebrated. Now it is upon Croatia and Morocco for the third slot in the World Cup finals. This is a very interesting feature and picture to look on for. Then the discussion is going to the recent by-election in Bihar. The recent by-election in Bihar has shown that the Karuni constituency, which is being rushed by the BJP, has just thwarted all sorts of calculations. That is the caste politics of the Mahagathbandhan. Earlier it was there, now it is Mandal. It has thwarted all sorts of caste politics of the RJD, and BJP has emerged as the front winner. Especially two of the castes on this constituency, that is Kwashi and Kurmo, these two castes have tilted their favor towards the BJP. Is not a good news for the RJD. Then moving on to the next article, the article on the devolution of constitutional powers between the executive, judiciary and the politics. No politics or the executive should infringe upon the powers of the judiciary. Recently, the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, and the Vice President also has reiterated this stand. The Vice President of India has stated that earlier the 99th constitutional amendment of setting up of a National Judicial Appointment Commission was set off by the Supreme Court. It shows that the Supreme Court was just pointing out the constitutional devolution of powers, the separation of powers between the executive, judiciary and the politics. This is a very interesting article, and this has kept on coming every now and then, and the new article on this blog is really an eye-opener in the present times when always the politics tries to infringe upon the judiciary and wrenches the power from the judiciary. Thank you, my dear friends. Hope you enjoyed the discussion on these articles. Swami Sharanam.